Evening, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to another live episode of the Bearded IT Dad, where we give you advice and insight on how to grow your career in the IT field. Tonight, we are doing an IT career question and answer, where if you have any questions about the IT field, you can drop them in the chat. If you're watching this on the replay, you can put them down in the comments below, and I promise we will get back to every single one of you. So with that said, we're going to talk about IT career questions, like any questions you might have. We're going to be talking about a whole bunch of stuff tonight, so stay tuned, because all of that and more is coming up after this. Good evening. Once again, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Bearded IT Dad. We are coming to you live tonight with answering all the questions you might have about the IT field, whether that's what certifications you should get, or, does a degree matter in the IT field? Does you name it? We are answering those questions live. So let me know when you got your guys' questions, and we will make sure and answer them. Here. Sorry. Just fixing something really quick here. As you guys are tuning in, let me know where you're tuning in from. We are broadcasting tonight here in wonderful Oregon. It was actually quite a nice sunny day out. The sun was shining. It wasn't too cold. No complaints. So while everyone's kind of filing in, I want to talk about a question I got actually earlier this evening. Someone asked me, are you able to get into the IT field and be successful in a short amount of time without any IT certifications? Not ITA certifications. Well, they did ask about IT certifications, but they also asked, without a college degree, are you able to succeed in the IT field without a college degree? And absolutely. Personally, I went from a basic entry-level IT job, and in 3 years with no college degree, I was able to progress to the director of network operations. I am responsible for the internet, literally the internet, television, and phone for 3 different towns. I'm responsible for the entire network operations. In 3 years, I was able to go from entry level job to a director position. So yeah, absolutely, you are able to progress in the career field without a degree. Many employers are dropping their requirements for degrees. A degree, I think, is becoming a thing of the past. Not saying that you shouldn't go get a degree. A college degree is still a very useful thing to have, but it's not a requirement. For me, college wasn't for me. I had trouble studying. I didn't quite fit well. So, that's where the IT certifications really helped me out. I went out and once I got into the IT field, I got a CompTIA A+, which actually you can see I'm still current on it. I got it right here. I got a Cisco Meraki certification, a Cisco Meraki Network Operator, CMNO certification, and I'm working currently on my Linux Plus. But becoming a director, I didn't have any fancy education. I didn't have any fancy college degrees, and I'm telling you that because you don't need it either. You just need to have confidence in yourself and determination to get there. So Matt, welcome, and Brian, welcome to the stream. It's glad to have you guys joining us tonight. Matt actually asked a question. Can you give us some detail on your networking job? What are you responsible for? Love the channel, by the way. Well, thank you, Matt. So I am currently the director of network operations for a local ISP, small town internet service provider. And I'm responsible, like I was saying earlier, for everything. For on a day-to-day basis, I'm responsible for the core networking environment of the organization. servers, all the servers. I have to manage them, update them, ensure they're operating smoothly, provisioning new ones, setting up new servers. 90%, by the way, 90% of those servers are Linux based. Most of them run Ubuntu. We do have a few Linux CentOS servers, and two Microsoft servers. One is our Active Directory domain controller, and the other one just runs something else. So I'm in charge of the networking equipment. I'm in charge of the server environment. I'm in charge of like making sure our generator, like today we had our generator tested, an annual service. I'm in charge of the DC plant, which, if you don't know what that is, a lot of our essential networking gear doesn't run off of AC power. It actually runs off of DC power, and we have two separate DC plants for redundancy. So in the event of a power outage, there is zero interruption to this equipment. It's not even like a UPS, where this is just constantly being provided 48 volts DC. So I'm in charge of that. And we actually have two separate locations, so I'm in charge of the DC plants for both. I'm in charge of just any upgrades, provisioning, you name it. If it has an Ethernet port on it, it falls under my lap. And it's a lot of responsibility, but I absolutely love it. It's my dream job. I mean, this is exactly what I want to do in my career, and I couldn't be happier. So hopefully that kind of gave you some more background. If you want some more details, feel free to ask. I will definitely dive into if there's a certain aspect of that you're interested in, Matt. Let me know. I'll definitely dive into that more. Brian, welcome here. Brian, you have almost 4 years in the IT industry. By the way, did you guys go check out the interview we just did with Brian? It was the day in the life of a Splunk Linux technical support engineer tier 1. Awesome interview. Really cool. We actually have another day in the life of informational technology coming out, not next week, but the week after. We're releasing a series every other week. We're going to be interviewing a different person and talking about what they do for a living, what their job is, what are some of the skills required, how they got there. So next week we have another video coming out, or the week after next, we have another one of those videos coming out. Next week, every Monday, we're going to be releasing a new video, though, whether it's this series we're doing or it's another topic we're talking about. Every Monday, we're going to start releasing a recorded video. And of course, we have our weekly live streams. Matt, sounds like a sweet job. It is really cool. And I've always been into networking a lot. In high school, my high school had the Cisco CCNA, so I did my CCNA back in high school, and really fell in love for networking. That's kind of where I kind of sunk my teeth in and really developed my love for networking. So once I finally came around and decided to be in the IT field, I knew I wanted to end up in like a networking engineer, network administration job. And at one of my very first jobs, I started the job as just an entry-level help desk person. And by the time I left in 2 years, I was designing the complete networking infrastructure for all our brand new hotels in our organization. I oversaw the complete design and implementation of 3 different brand new hotels and several remodel hotels. And I really enjoyed that. It was a lot of fun. Brian, you really enjoyed the interview. Yeah, that was a fun interview, and look forward to having you on the channel again here in the future. If you guys are just tuning in, welcome. We are doing our weekly IT career question and answer. Try not to say another channel's name. But anyways, if you have any questions about the IT career field, make sure and drop them down in the chat and we will answer them. And I'm going to actually take a quick moment and give a big shout out. We got our very first Patreon subscriber. Yard. Oh gosh, I totally forgot your name. I have it right here. York Yard Ask just became our very first Patreon subscriber. Thank you very much for the Patreon subscription. And over on Patreon, we have several different tiers where you can support the channel, and we are going to be releasing all our videos early over there on the channel. So if you want to see content before anyone else does, go over there and check out Patreon. So thank you again to York Yard Ask for signing up. Let's see here. Craig, welcome to the screen. Jarvin Craig, welcome to the stream. Say, hopefully the music's not too loud for you guys. I was watching the replay of the last stream, and the music was kind of quiet. It was hard to hear. So let me know if you guys even like the music. I can get rid of it too. Music's fine. Awesome. So where are you guys tuning in from this evening? Like I was saying earlier, I'm here in Oregon, but I'm curious, where is everyone tuning in from? Brian, I know where you're tuning in from. Brian, you're buying an RC crawler next week from Horizon Hobby Store. That's awesome. Was the last stream? We were talking about some of my hobbies and stuff, and my son has an RC crawler, and it's actually showing it on the screen. This isn't me tuning in from Oregon. Welcome. So, kind of going back to what I was talking about when I first started, it is absolutely possible to enter the IT field with no certifications and no college education and no prior work experience. Those things aren't a requirement to get into the IT field. It is 100% possible to enter the IT field with none of them if you have great soft skills, your ability to communicate with people. If you're able to communicate with people well, your soft skills are enough to get you into this IT field. It is really all that it takes to get into the IT field is being able to communicate with people, and your soft skills will take you a long way. And I'm proof of that. When I entered the IT field, I was a college dropout. I had no prior work experience in the IT field. I had a lot of knowledge, but nothing for an actual employer. And I had no certifications, no IT certifications. I was studying for my A+, but I didn't actually have my A+ certification. And I was able to get a great job in the IT field. My first job, by the time I left there, I was making over $60,000 a year. So, don't let anything hold you back. If you're thinking, I can't start applying because I don't have any certifications. I can't start applying because I still need to take some classes. Don't let that hold you back, because, there should be no reason you shouldn't start applying for jobs. CompTIA A+, absolutely. Sammers, I can vouch on Soft Skills Part 2. My interview said I was well-spoken and thorough. Excuse me. A lot of book knowledge, A+, but no experience. My employer offered me the job out of 130 people. Sorry, gotta open this door. It's a little warm in here already. 130 people, and you had no experience, and you were offered the job. That is awesome. I love hearing success stories like that. Absolutely. The soft skills will carry you a long way. Your ability to communicate to others, realizing you're not talking down to anyone, and don't you have to just reword it a different way. So I am a networking engineer, so I don't have to talk to customers often. I mean, I understand completely, but it's not just customers, it's internal people too. I'm a director of network operations. I rarely have to talk to customers in my line of work, but I have to talk to other people. I have to talk to general manager. I have to talk to the director of finance, director of sales. And it's you have to use your soft skills and your people skills there too. You have to work as a team to be able to be successful. And even though I definitely didn't have the actual knowledge, I knew plenty enough, but there is definitely on paper more qualified people for my job than I was. But I had the soft skills, the ability to communicate well, and that took me quite a ways. And you guys can see, I'm not some great big speech giver. I'm not great at public speaking. I stutter and I have troubles with my words sometimes. So if you're nervous talking to people, don't let that hold you back, because you'll learn, and the more you do it, the more comfortable you'll be, and just you'll get an understanding of the best way to communicate with others. So just because you're not customer facing in the IT field doesn't mean you don't need great soft skills. I totally forgot to refill my water before this live stream. Let me see if I got anything right here. Nothing to drink. Oh well, I'll be fine. If I get super thirsty, I might have to step out and grab something to drink. Streaming helps me feel more comfortable in front of people. That was one thing for me, as this channel, streaming like this, definitely encouraged me, it helps me feel more comfortable talking. So whatever you have to do, whatever you have to do to be successful. So Javen Craig, I think I'm pronouncing it. I haven't checked. I've seen you on here before. We've talked, but I haven't checked out your channel. What do you stream? What kind of content do you put out there? Are you a tech streamer, gamer? Let me know. I'm curious now. This is a good one here. I'd also mention always do your best no matter where you are, because the person you're working next to at your job, at the temporary job, I'd also mention always do your best no matter where you're at, because the person working next to you at that temporary job 8 years ago might be sitting on the other side of that interview table from you. Absolutely. You should always try to do your best, and that's what I do, and that's one thing I get recognized for is, even if I don't know something, I'm always striving to do my best and trying to go above and beyond, go that extra mile. It really pays off in the long run. It gets noticed, even if you don't think people are noticing, that you're going above and beyond or doing something extra. It makes a big difference. Information technology intern interview tips. What kind of tips are you looking for? If you don't have a lot of prior work experience, I would definitely talk about, if you have a home lab, I definitely talk about that during your interview. If If you have any customer service related experience, talk about that. That's a great example of soft skills and your ability to talk with customers. Customer service is a great entry into the IT field because you have those customer service, those people skills I was just talking about. Talk about that. Let me know a little bit more what kind of tips are you looking for. If you can be more specific. I stream under My Little Lamb. I stream random tech things on YouTube, Twitch, some bad Python code, and general tinkering. I've heard that name before, My Little Lamb. Maybe it was just you telling me, and I forgot. My memory's been horrible lately, but I'll definitely have to check it out. Everyone else on here should go check him out too. Little free shout out, shameless plug, whatever you want to call it. So I have been in here under that name as well. Maybe that's where I saw it. I was gonna say I've seen that name before. So going back to this question here. Information technology intern interview tips. Definitely if you don't have a home lab, go out and build one. Go out and build a home lab and start talking about your home lab. Start talking about projects you're working on. If you're studying for a certification, make sure you list that in your interview. And before you even get to the interview, make sure, if you're studying for a certification, list that on your resume and list that, say you're studying for the CompTIA Plus. On your resume, make sure and list, hey, I am currently studying for the CompTIA Plus, and I have my exam scheduled on set date. And go out and actually schedule your exam on that date, because that'll give you pressure and motivation to continue studying for that exam. I'm getting ready here in the next couple weeks to probably schedule my Linux Plus exam. I just started this week studying for it. I've officially started. I put a post out there the other day. I'm so excited, you guys. I'm not paid by CBT Nuggets at all. But I like talking about them because I really enjoy using them. But I just got a year subscription to CBT Nuggets and started studying for my Linux Plus certification. And actually plan on putting out some videos about the Linux Plus because it is a really cool certification. It really, if you are interested in Linux at all, definitely go out and study for the Linux Plus. Even if you don't plan on getting the certification, because it will teach you everything you need to know about Linux and definitely make it less scary. I'm not saying Linux is scary. I've really come to love Linux, actually. I like Linux more than Windows. Matter of fact, the only reason I run Windows still on my personal computer is because the very, very, very expensive video editing software will not run good on Linux. So I stick with Windows. But on my work computer, I've completely converted that over to Linux and absolutely enjoy it. Linux is becoming a very popular operating system in the IT field. It's not becoming, it's always been a pretty popular operating system, but more and more organizations are adapting Linux for their server environment, or even if they're in the cloud. A lot of the cloud instances are running Linux. So Linux is a very important, very crucial thing to learn in the IT field. Even in networking, my organization uses a lot of Juniper gear. Juniper gear is based off the Linux kernel. It uses the Linux command line, Linux terminal. If you're getting into security, you definitely got to learn Linux, because a lot of people use Linux because of the security tools. You have to also know, just Linux is an overall great tool to learn. So What kind of monitoring tools do you recommend learning? Monitoring tools. Are you talking about like to use to monitor a networking environment and stuff like that? If that's the case, it really depends on whatever organization. Every organization uses kind of something different. There's several different tools out there. One I've used a lot of in the past is called Zabbix. Zabbix is an open source program. Let's pull it up here on screen here. Okay. Let's pull this up here. Let's take a look. So Zabbix is a great monitoring software to monitor, so like SolarWinds, PRTG and stuff. Zabbix is completely open source and free. So that's one thing that I think is really cool. You can kind of get in there and play around, start learning your different protocols like SNMP protocol, because a lot of the different monitoring softwares use SNMP. So you'll learn to set that stuff up. So definitely I check out Zabbix. They have a great support forum. You can even find some videos on YouTube about Zabbix. And it's really easy to set up. It's Linux based. There's different ways you can download and install it. It has its own, it has all the different instances here, all the different Linux flavors. You can install it on Red Hat, CentOS. I currently have it running on Ubuntu. You can run it on a Raspberry Pi. Like the little $35 cheap computer, you can run this wonderful, fully fledged monitoring software on a little $35 Raspberry Pi. So you buy this and you install Zabbix on it completely for free. Boom. You can use this on your home network. And actually, that's a really good idea. I think I'm going to set up Zabbix on my Raspberry Pi to monitor my network here. Thank you for that idea. Anyway, SolarWinds is pretty popular. It just really depends on what field you're going into, and every employer kind of uses their own. So if you're interested in working for an employer, it might be good to check out what kind of, if the job listings, and see if they mention anything like that, what they're using. So what code do I use? What are you talking about? What code do I use? Do I use Python? Is that what you're asking? I don't really do much coding, unless you count Bash. I've created some Bash scripts in my day, but haven't done much coding. Let me know if that's what you're talking about. I want to apply for an IT internship. The role is related to hardware and software, troubleshooting, and customer service skills. So how should I prepare myself for the interview? And I've done Google IT support course. I definitely, if it's hardware, software, troubleshooting, and customer service, I would definitely build yourself a home lab if you don't have one. Take an old computer, download VirtualBox, and create a couple of virtual machines, whether they're Linux-based, Microsoft-based, or whatever. Create yourself a home lab. You don't have to spend a lot of money or any money, and do different things like installing different operating systems. Research some common problems, updating drivers, do that kind of stuff, preparing yourself for the interview, and talk about it all during your interview. Talk about how you have your own home lab and you've connected the computers together via, your home router, and you've built a, DHCP. Talk about that kind of stuff. Talk about getting your hands dirty. If you've ever built your own home computer, definitely talk about that. Before I got into the IT field, I built my own desktop, and I modeled it after the world's fastest, at the time, the world's fastest personal computer. The chips that I used in it set the world record at like 8.4 gigahertz. They were using liquid helium because liquid nitrogen wasn't cold enough. It was a really cool thing. So, I talked about that. I kind of geeked out about that kind of stuff. And that's what I would recommend. So hopefully that was helpful. If you have more questions about that, feel free to let me know. That's what I'm here for. Can't pronounce your name. I'm horrible with pronouncing names. Alan Carmi over on Twitch. Probably my only Twitch viewer right now. What are you talking about when you mean code? I'm curious. Not only talk about your home lab, but be excited about it, even if it's old hardware. Absolutely. Talk about, be excited that, don't be afraid to show your excitement during that interview. It really, just let that come through. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. I kind of, like I said, I all nerded out. Like you guys just saw, I was kind of nerding out about talking about the personal computer. Let them see that you're excited about technology. That's great advice there. Brian, you cannot see the other chats. Did my chat freeze here? So chats are just coming through slowly, it looks like. I see the chats and stuff coming through. Just a quiet night on YouTube. We're still a growing channel. By the way, if you're just joining us, welcome. We are doing an IT career question and answers, where if you have any questions about the IT field, whether we're wondering about certifications, if you have questions about resume tips, IT interview tips, you name it, you can drop in the chat and we will answer them live. You can also put them down. If you're watching this in the replay, you can put them down in the comments below and we will get back to every single one of you. So all right, you can see the comments now. Okay, interesting. So, that's weird. Sorry, computer issues. I can't wait to get my normal computer back and fixed. I have this really nice Lenovo laptop and it just completely took a dump. So I'm not using my normal computer and it keeps on giving me problems. But that's okay. I'm here. I'm talking to you guys. This is I really enjoyed this time. Helping people out and giving you guys advice. So one thing, I was talking about earlier, I am currently studying for the Linux Plus certification. And it's been a quite interesting certification. I'm using CPC nuggets to currently to study. Right here it kind of goes over, what you'll learn. You'll learn hardware and system configuration, operating system maintenance, security, Linux troubleshooting and diagnostic, and automation and scripting. Execute bash scripts. Execute bash scripts version control using Git and orchestration procedures. This is kind of scripting. I was talking about the kind of code. I don't even call it coding. Scripting is definitely a better term for it. And these right here, this is CompTIA puts out great resources. What jobs use the Linux Plus: network administration, web administration, system administration, technical support specialist, Linux administration. A lot more jobs nowadays are using Linux. So this Linux Plus certification would really go a long way in the IT career field. If you were definitely interested in becoming a system administrator, I definitely would get your A plus first and then go after your Linux Plus. So sorry, I had to check some text messages from work. Or not text messages, email notifications. Oops. There we go. Let's see, did I miss any questions here? Quick question: if I don't have any certs, but I got a job already as IT support specialist, should I do an N plus or CCNA? If I'm assuming you're interested in networking. As long as your end goal is networking, personally, I would go for your CCNA. I think the CCNA certification is definitely a more known certification than the Network Plus. It's not necessarily more known. The Network Plus is a very well-known certification, but the CCNA has really set the industry standard when it comes to entry-level networking certifications, and is definitely a lot more known and accepted by employers than the Network Plus. You could just do a quick job search on Indeed. I always go back to Indeed. Again, not paid or sponsored by anyone. But what you could do is do a quick slow search here and see which one pops up more results. So let's start with the Network Plus. Let's just see how many jobs actually truly list the Network Plus. I'm sure a lot of these we're going to see in here are just pinging off the word network. But let's see if we can find any jobs here really quick that actually require the Network Plus. Can't see it on that one. CCMP. No, CCDP, CCNA. So we're looking for a job that's requiring the Network Plus, but we're finding a CCNA. Yeah, I mean, you can see here, I'm not seeing any of these that actually require a CC or a Network Plus. We've already found some that require CCNA. So let's just do the search again and just type in CCNA. And these are just remote jobs. These are not in your specific area. So I'd do it definitely for your specific area, unless you really want to work remote. I can almost guarantee you all these jobs are going to list CCNA. in them because, that's just what I typed in. And these are all networking jobs. So definitely go after your CCNA is my advice. I wouldn't waste your time with the Network Plus. Sir, what type of scenario-based questions asked in interview, like printer not working, or network-related questions like DNS, DHCP, in IT interview? Most questions are network-based or other. Every employer is different. I can't say what kind of questions they're going to ask in their interview. Probably not as many as you think. They're probably more going to be like, tell me a time when you had a conflict with a fellow employee and what are the steps you took to resolve that issue. And you'll probably have another question like, tell me about a time when you had an irate customer and what did you do to resolve that issue. The questions that we all hate during an interview, those is what I would probably expect the most. I've yet to see an employer really dig in with technical questions. I did have one. I applied for this job, but they were very basic questions. So I really wouldn't worry again too much about the technical questions. A lot of times you're going to find them asking those generic HR written questions about your soft skills. And that's why I said your soft skills are your most important skill in the IT field. So CCNA has more clout with employers. Absolutely. If you get your CCNA and a company requires the Network Plus, you should be able to simply sit for the exam. If you take your CCNA, the Net Plus will be a cakewalk for you. So I really would lean towards the CCNA. Yep, you're welcome. Sorry, I guess I should have muted my microphone. It is 9 o'clock where I am. How late is it where everyone else is tuning in? I know these live streams are a little bit late, especially for you guys on the East Coast. Just whenever I can fit them in, unfortunately. I try to do it every Friday night at 8:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Is when I'm trying to do these live streams, trying to get consistent for everyone. Oops. I just saw a question popped up as I clicked off the screen. For networking engineer interview questions, I was handed a paper with buildings and other requirements, and I was told to design a network. It was fun, legit fun, and I enjoyed it. Yeah, I did apply for one job where I had to write a justification to build an IDF. Why I needed to build out this IDF. What would we gain from it, and I had to justify the funds and everything, and I had like an hour to do this. I was given this really rough plan, like, okay, this is what there is, this is why we're going to do this, and I had to formulate like an email. It was an interview for a school district. It was interesting. I had fun. I thought I did a great job. Apparently I didn't. They didn't hire me. They came back after the fact and told me they regretted not hiring me and never offered me the job, but I was already on my way to bigger and better things. So, but yeah, I've had stuff like that before. It really depends on what you're going for. And in those situations, you just have to rely on your knowledge. And if you don't know the answer to something they're talking about, don't be afraid to tell them, I don't know, but this is how I would research it and get you the answers you need. And go and talk to them how you would use like tools like Google and stuff. Don't be afraid to tell them that you don't know the answer to a question. Don't lie about it. Absolutely. Absolutely don't lie to them about it, but be honest with them. And a lot of times they'll respect that. And if you outline like how you would, go about finding the information, that really shows them that you have the determination and motivation to figure out, and resolve the problems. Excuse me. Promise I'm not tired. I have probably several more hours worth of stuff to do tonight. I was going to pull up something for you guys. Let's see. I don't know if you guys have noticed, we started posting shorts to the channel, YouTube shorts. Oops. Hopefully that wasn't. So this is one of the shorts we posted. This is actually, part of the network operations center I work in. I work for a fiber optic internet service provider, and these are all just the kind of patch panels we have. Turn that sound off. But we were talking about networking. I figured it'd be kind of cool to show this to you guys. These are all fiber optic cables. Each one of those pieces of fiber optics go to approximately 32 different homes. So, yep, GPON. You are absolutely correct. Before I was hired, they used to run BPON. Now they're GPON. And I'm really hoping probably within a couple years will be XGS-PON. So for those of you who don't understand what we're talking about, it's GPON stands for Gigabit Ethernet Passive Optical Network. Thank you for posting that, because actually I didn't have the acronym memorized. But it is capable of gigabit speeds. We do fiber to the premises internet service, so we are delivering gigabit speeds up and down to the home and businesses. We are offering gigabit speed internet, which is really excellent. What we are working towards is what's called XGS-PON, which is 10 gigabit. Could you imagine having 10 gigabit per second internet to your home? That is the dream right there. I mean, having gigabit internet to the home is a dream enough. And I'm totally jealous that I actually don't live within their service area. So I actually don't get these amazing speeds to my home. I'm stuck with good old Comcast that drops often and pay twice as much for. But I find it so exciting being able to deliver gigabit speed internet to people's houses, and we do it for dirt cheap. We are like $80 a month. $80 a month for gigabit by gigabit, a symmetrical connection. So for those of you who don't know, when you get internet service, there's typically a symmetrical and an asymmetric connection. Symmetrical is the same speeds on your upload and download. So like what my company offers, we offer all symmetrical services. So it's either like gigabit up and gigabit down, or like whatever speed they sign up for. There's also what's more common in the internet service, especially for home service, is an asymmetric connection. So like say for your Comcast or your AT&T or whatever you have out there, you might have like 100 meg connection. That 100 meg is only your download speed. You can download stuff at 100 meg, but when you're uploading, your upload is typically way less, like 5 or 10 or 20, which is fine because people are rarely, especially at their house, in their homes, they're rarely uploading more than they're downloading. With the exception of like streamers and YouTubers and stuff like that. So an asymmetric connection is not a big deal. But I think it's a real value add when you can offer at no extra cost a symmetrical connection and give all those users the ability to upload all that traffic. I think it's really cool. I really start geeking out on this kind of thing. So excuse me. If you guys are just tuning in, welcome again, by the way. We are doing an IT career question and answer. Sorry about that. We're doing an IT career question and answer. If you guys have any questions about anything related to the IT field, feel free to drop them in the chat. Or if you're watching this on the replay, put them in the comments below and we'll get back to every single one of you. So, have you ever sent large file by USPS because it was faster than sending it over the internet? No, but I know plenty of people have. Like Amazon, for instance. Amazon has what they call the Amazon Snowball, which is like this ruggedized portable server, and companies that have a lot of information they are looking to offload up into the cloud, it is actually quicker for Amazon to drop off this, what they call the Snowball, at the client's house, the client's business. They offload their data onto it, and then they come and pick it up and take it to one of their processing facilities. This is actually quite cool. And other providers do this. Let's see if it'll finish loading. Let's see if I can play this without the audio. But it's just like this little rugged personal computer. It won't let me play it. So the idea is you connect into it in a with a high-speed fiber optic connection, dump all your data onto it. They'll come pick it up and offload all that data into the cloud. So it's really quite cool. If you guys haven't done research on it, there's tons of documentaries out on it. Just how they've done it. It's a ingenious idea. They actually have what they call it's not a snowball, but it's a whole semi-truck full of like drives, like hard drives, and they'll back it up to your business, and you run your fiber lines out there and dump all your data on it, and then they'll truck it back. It's really, really cool. What kind of peering do you guys do? I have never done ISP work, but I have found the idea of peering is interesting. Peering, like I'm not catching. Peering. I know what you're talking about in a sense, but not off the top of my head. I apologize. It's been a long week. Peering. I don't think so here, like peering in computer networking, peering is a voluntary interconnect of administratively separate internet networks and for the purpose of exchange of traffic between the downstream. Yeah, so we really don't do any peering. We have two different providers that I can't tell you who they are, but we use two different bigger providers to provide internet service to our customers. So kind of more like reselling. We have two very large data pipes into our network operations center, but that's really all we do. So people do backups via tape. Pickup by couriers. Iron Mountain is common. Yeah, you know, to me, tape backups is really, I think, is crazy in today's era. But the fact is, using tape is still a lot of times cheaper, and sometimes can be the safer than using like spinning platters. The data, especially if it's not something you're doing a lot of rewrites on and just storing, in cold storage, tape backup still a very much used and viable option. So, but it just seems like such an old technology to still being used. But you know what? It works. So. Makes total sense. Yeah. We are a small provider. We service, I want to say like 7,000 customers ish, maybe more. I can't give exact numbers away, but, so we don't do it like we don't do any monitoring. We offer just plain old straight up internet, which is kind of nice. It's kind of a rarity with the big companies nowadays. We don't sell user data. We keep things simple. We don't charge for static IP addresses. At least I'm not sure. I don't really deal with billing. I just typically assign them and manage the IP address blocks. But anywho, we're just a small, simple service provider, and it's a great place to grow your career, type of thing. Everyone gets their own public IP. Everyone gets their own. We have a DHCP servers that issue everyone out their own public IP. We have, I couldn't tell you, several blocks of IP addresses. We are still using IPv4, but I was just told the other day we are going to start looking into what it takes to convert to IPv6, which is it's going to be quite a change there. IPv6 is the way of the future, and is definitely something to consider when we're looking at XGS PON offering 10 gig speed to customers. It's definitely going to be the way to go. So, but yeah, everyone gets their own public IP. For not working for an ISP, you sure have a lot of insight into it. That's awesome. I think we're going to wrap up this live stream here in a little bit. I got quite a bit of work to do this evening. The chat's kind of quieted down. It's late on a Friday night. Everyone's out partying. I understand. Got to get those party times in before Thanksgiving. Before you can't party because you ate too much turkey. You've been working on network since 2003. I may have asked you last stream, what do you do for a living, if you don't mind sharing? I think I asked you last stream. I feel bad. My memory is just not with me this evening. And I talk to you a lot of you on YouTube, so I get confused. Network engineer at a hospital. That's what I thought. And you're here in Oregon too. That's awesome. Yeah, I can't remember. But that's interesting that you work for a hospital here in Oregon. I think I saw that you were here in Oregon. Let's see. I'm curious now. Small world. Yeah, you're here in Oregon. Yeah, south of me. That's what I thought. I remember something, but I couldn't quite remember. So, awesome. Well, I think we're going to wrap up this live stream here. It's been a great time talking with you guys tonight. If you guys have any other questions, you always can reach out to us on our Discord. Link is in the description below. If you haven't joined, definitely go over there and check it out. We're building a great community of like-minded people in the IT field. And if you're not in the IT field and you're interested, it's definitely a good thing to check out as well. You can ask any questions there as well. So, awesome. Well, if there's no more questions, I think I'm going to wrap this up. I got to actually do some stuff for my wife's business tonight. And if I have enough time, I'm going to try to get some recording done of some other videos that I'm going to have coming out Monday. So I'm going to try to work on that as well. All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in. I really hope that you guys found this video informative. If you have any suggestions for upcoming streams or videos, make sure and let me know, and I will add them to the list. All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in. Until next time, take it easy.